Good morning, Naveen.
Hey, hi
So,
Vishnu.
hi. Looks like both you and the students have been having a good time over the last month.
Oh yeah,
Exponentials, then right, then the history of code breaking, introduction to cryptography, introduction to modern cryptography. So, how has your experience been? Students have been giving very positive feedback.
I mean, I have loved teaching these courses. So these are topics that are not normally covered in schools, and some of them can get quite involved mathematically. So I was worried, but the engagement that the students have and the enthusiasm with which they are doing the exercises and the homeworks is really great. I love it when they say that, oh, I felt the course was too short and wanted to continue learning this topic.
Yeah, that's great. In fact, a lot of kids did say it is quite short and hopefully we'll run longer courses. So now you come up with again something which is sort of new and not in the school curriculum, probably not even in many colleges, game theory. And some parents have been calling me and asking, what is game theory? So tell us a bit, what is game theory and why do you want to offer this to kids?
Okay, so basically, game theory is a formalized way of thinking strategically, thinking through the alternatives and knowing what is the right thing to do, especially when you are in a situation where you might have competitors, collaborators, and you don't know which is which and what's going to happen, right? It gets involved in a lot of many areas in life, everything from business and politics and to uh, day-to-day personal relationships. So let me give a couple of examples, right? So one comes from an NYU game theory professor who points out that one way to get a car cheaper than what you would normally get is to go to a bunch of nearby dealerships and go and just announce to them that this is exactly the car you want to buy and you are going to buy it from the dealer who gives you the lowest price on a particular date. And usually all of them will complain and say that this is not how it works and we have better service and this and that. But you just stick to it saying, I'm not going to do any other negotiation on this day. Whoever gives the lowest price, uh, I'm going to buy. And then what happens is that they all then end up having to try, or not all, many of them end up trying to give a better price than they would have normally given. And at least the one who gives a really good price is the one you end up buying. He has done this, he's bought 11 cars like this, and each time gotten a really good price. And this comes, the insight for this technique comes from game theory. Now the thing is that these kinds of thinking comes naturally to some people. They do this instinctively, whereas others it doesn't. So for those that don't think like this intuitively, the game theory will help them to come up with such strategies, because game theory has a repertoire of such strategies that you can use, and it also teaches you to figure out which strategy is likely to work in which situation. And the ones who do it instinctively, they also trip up sometimes, right? Because they are not thinking through this formally and they might miss some aspects of the whole situation. And their strategies can be further sharpened through the use of game theory. But just if you think that this is only for business or something complicated like that, let me give a much simpler example, right? Imagine there are two students in a class, and whether should they share their notes and study tips or not, right? Because the thought process there is that if they share, the scores of both of them will improve, right? So in that sense, sharing is a good thing. But on the other hand, if one of them shares sincerely and the other person isn't sharing sincerely, just taking the inputs and not giving any inputs of their own, they will end up benefiting from this whole thing, right? Now, again, this is a situation where people just do something intuitively or based on ethics or based on self-interest or something like that. But what game theory teaches is that there are, I mean, the simplest, most naive strategy that you do based on just either self-interest or morals isn't always the best thing to do. I mean, you might get exploited, or you might have do well in the short term, but then do badly in the long term. And game theory helps you to understand why one strategy might be better than the other, what kind of problems can occur which are not something you thought about earlier. And then based on all of this, what is the right strategy to use?
Okay, sounds quite interesting. Uh, so I'm perhaps one of those people who don't instinctively get game theory that much. So I understood the two students example and how, but tell me, if we can look at the person purchasing the car by your professor, um it seemed quite intriguing. But what are specific elements out there? All of us would ask for the lowest price. So can you elaborate on that a bit?
Yeah, so see, if I
So
just
what?
think of the
Yeah.
situation like this, right? As in, you are adversaries in a game. If you ask for a price that is too low, right, which the dealership cannot match, then the deal will not happen. And then both have lost something
Okay.
because the dealership didn't make a profit and you didn't get a good car, right? On the other
Okay.
hand, you agree to a price that is too high, right? So in that case, the dealership has gotten a lot of profit and you ended up paying too much. On the other hand, if you manage to drive them all the way down and the dealership actually made too little profit, right? Now you have gotten a good deal out of it and they have gotten a bad deal, right? So this is what you would call an example of a prisoner's dilemma, right?
Okay.
Ideally,
Okay.
you want to be in a situation which is best for both. Otherwise, in the long term, it doesn't work out.
Okay. 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 That's very interesting. So
And the
what
other
is?
thing that has happened
Yeah.
here is
Yeah.
that one of the strategies that this person used is that in this prisoner's dilemma, what happens is that there are two different strategies, two different equilibriums in which both can reach. And what the
Okay.
professor did was just pre-announce that he's going to do this. So cut out one strategy entirely and reduced the options available to the opponent.
Okay,
Right?
that's
So
very
that's
useful. That's very
yeah.
useful. So if students are interested in this and at a later stage and age, if they go deeper into this, then this is an example of the systematic way. So you don't
Yes.
hit and miss, even if you have
Yeah.
the intuition. You
Right.
realize that how do I cut out options?
Yeah.
Okay, I talk about the specific date,
Yeah.
right? I
Yeah.
say this is what I'm going to do. I
Yeah.
declare these things. So these could be part of a well thought out strategy.
Yeah. And
And
this is just
yeah,
one strategy out of, say, a whole bunch, right?
okay,
So
okay.
looking at the situation, you can decide, should I use this one or this one or this one or that one, which will work
Correct,
best.
correct, correct. So this is obviously a very basic introduction where they might develop intuition.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So how would the approach be? How would children go about learning in this course?
So the important thing here is that if you do it too theoretically and too mathematically, intuition doesn't develop. It's difficult,
Okay,
except for a
okay,
few students, right? So what we will be doing is that we will be creating versions of each of these games, and for every game, first we will make the students play against each other. And we will be giving them points which will all be tallied up by the end of the course. So the students will be playing seriously. That's our experience. And then at the end of the game, we will ask them to talk about what strategy they tried, whether it worked or not, look at other people's scores, and then compare notes and so on, right? So they will have overall general discussion. And again, our experience is that students really love this kind of a discussion. And out of this will emerge the theory of the game, right? I mean, all of these have been studied by
okay,
economists for 70, 80 years.
okay,
And then we will bring in
okay.
some of the theory, the points they have missed. And then
Correct. So they
finally
are
we will
doing this. They're coming up with some strategies.
and then we are comparing their strategies they came up with what the experts say. And then
Yeah.
finally we will talk about examples in real life where this particular game might be applicable, and then we repeat this with 3 or 4 different games.
There seems to be value not just in getting introduced to game theory. developing some intuition, but this might also provide like a aeroplane level view to students as they
Yeah.
encounter such kind of situations in different subjects, be it in a game theory
Yeah.
class or not. They sort
Yeah.
of have they know that, hey, one could apply game theory out here, and at that point of time when they're older, they can learn to apply some math or computer simulation or truth tables or whatever it is, and more rigorous ways to get at this.
Yeah, absolutely. So the thing is that, I expect very few of them to land up in a higher education degree where they have to formally study game theory. But like, say, statistics, it is something that is pretty much applicable to everything you do in life. And once they know about the existence of this area of study, and once they are introduced to it, they will find themselves applying it in all these different areas, and automatically their skills will start improving, right? Just knowing that this is a skill that can be honed is enough in this day where all the information is available on the internet for you to read.
Okay, that's very powerful. Just knowing that this is skill, there is a domain, and I can hone it. Yes, that's very powerful. So, in that sense, what kind of children do you think will find it most exciting, or what kind of? I mean, you've already answered the question that perhaps all children should do it, but what kind of children do you think would find it most exciting? And formally, where does game theory fall? Does it fall in any particular discipline? And, yeah.
See, these days, I mean, game theory is primarily taught in economics, and sometimes studied a little bit in psychology, some in business, some a little bit in maths and computer science, and so on. But it is something that should really be taught to everybody, right? In terms of what kind of students will find this most interesting, is I think those who like logical thinking and a little bit of psychology, right? Thinking of the psychology of your opponent. Those are the ones who will find this most interesting. But my experience is that lots of kids like this, unless you beat it out of them.
Yeah, also, I think at this age, they are so young that just getting a taste of this may help. They may think that they may not like it, but then they may really enjoy it, right? So, because
Absolutely,
game theory is just not, it's not like playing some other games, right? It's, you might fall in love with it because of different aspects of it. Somebody may fall in love with it because of the psychology angle, someone because of the game angle, someone because of the ferreting out the rules from this. So, yeah, I think.
Absolutely.
So, thank you so much, Naveen. It's been a wonderful conversation, and I look forward to dropping into your class and seeing what's happening next week.
Sure. Thanks, Vishnu. Bye.